With less than a week to go before the provincial election, it is the final stretch for all the main political party leaders. Doug Ford heading back to Washington for the second time this campaign. Beyond his pledge to fight those tariffs, Clara's talking about one of his biggest promises so far, digging a tunnel under the 401. Lane Harrison is taking a closer look. Lane, just how big of a promise is Ford making here with this tunnel?
Shannon, this is an absolutely massive election time pledge. Based on our research, it is the biggest single project promised during an election in Ontario in the past 10 years. Very well could be the single largest promised project in the history of this province. But the thing is, we don't know very much about it. We know that Ford wants to dig a tunnel under the 401. He says it's going to get done. We know that it could go from Brampton or Mississauga to Scarborough or Markham, which is about 55 kilometers. But that's kind of it. So we want to find out more and of what this could look like, what the details could be. And I talked to a tunneling expert, Brian Garrett, who he worked on the Channel Tunnel that connects England and France. He's worked on several major subway tunnels in Toronto. So all that to say, he knows what he's talking about. And he pointed me to State Route 99 tunnel as a comparison that we could use. Now, that's a 4-lane highway tunnel in Seattle that was finished in 2019. And just to give you an idea of how massive our tunnel project could be, that tunnel is about 3.2 kilometers compared to 55 for the 401 tunnel, and that project took 10 years. So getting into the cost, that tunnel in Seattle cost about $1 billion per kilometer, but that's in US dollars and was more than half a decade ago. So Garrett, the veteran engineer that I spoke to, says we need to convert those costs to Canadian and adjust them for inflation. So he pegs the potential cost of the 401 tunnel at $1.7 billion per kilometer. Some quick math, that's $93.5 billion for the entire project. But Garrett wants everybody to keep in mind that these are very rough estimates, given there is zero design information available about this project. But here's Doug Ford defending his idea yesterday.
It's costing us $56 billion to our economy every single year because of backlogged traffic. 400 series highways will be maxed out in 10 years. That's the difference between ourselves and the other parties. We're visionaries. We're thinking 50 years and 100 years out.
So we heard him cite that cost to the economy of congestion, which makes the tunnel idea sound logical, but not everybody is convinced that it will be a silver bullet for traffic, like Stephen Farber, who directs the mobility network at the University of Toronto.
All the research points to the necessity to curb the demand for highway travel rather than create new highways on the supply side. So this proposal to widen the 401, especially by digging under it, is both expensive and very unlikely to have an impact on congestion. And in fact, it'll contribute towards further entrenching congestion in the region.
And one last point, Shannon, if this project were to include transit and space for drivers, that would be 2 tunnels and could push the cost of this project up to $130 billion. So just a massive, massive promise.
And crunching the numbers for us, thanks, Lane. He's reporting from Queen's Park.